Xbox has more games that have not been announced, and that's an obvious thing where we have confirmation about that. The Xbox and PlayStation ecosystems, they're an interesting place when it comes to the games that do get played. The majority of them are all spent in the same place. We have some numbers on that. Balatro, we have a nice update for that. We know it just dropped in the Game Pass, but it has another Xbox feature that's going to be added to it, or that's available right now for it. We also have lots of information about some big games coming out. Split Fiction, Atomfall. So those two games look phenomenal, plus other things that we're going to go over in today's video. But if it is your first time here, you enjoy what you see, consider hitting the subscribe button. If you've been watching for a while, hit the subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. And let's jump into it right now. I'll start off here talking about Xbox. As we know, Fable has been delayed until 2026. And I think most rational people look at that and think it's not a big deal with the amount of games that are out in 2025, not only from Xbox first party, which there's already a lot just in the first half, but just in general, third parties and everything. This is going to be a phenomenal year when it comes to game releases. That pushing another game into 2026, I think, is absolutely fine as long as it comes out polished and in the best state possible. But you have to ask yourself, because there's a lot of speculation right now going on, is are they making room for another game to be released? For example, Gears of War E-Day, we've been hearing a lot about that. It's potentially coming out this year. It's already been in development for about 5 years. Could this be that just insanely surprise announcement that we get at the summer showcase, which I think would be incredible as it's one of my favorite franchises? But besides that, there's a bunch of other stuff that apparently has not been announced yet here from Xbox. This again comes via Craig Duncan, and he had this to say in his recent update on the Xbox Game Studios. He says, "We've got a bunch of stuff we haven't announced, so obviously I spend a bunch of time with that. But yeah, we have lots going on." And you really have to sit back and look at the slate of games that Xbox has coming out. I mean, just in the next couple of months, you have South of Midnight. You also have Doom, The Dark Ages. So that's April and that's May taken care of for games that are launching. And then after that, what is coming out for the rest of the year? This is all stuff that's going to be determined, I believe, at the June summer showcase. But games like State of Decay 3 have been in development for a while. Perfect Dark have been in development. I don't think those will be coming out this year. But Gears of War E-Day, when we first saw it, I think a lot of people were very excited for what they were going for here, going back to the Dom and Marcus days, like a prequel of the game itself. And it gave you that vibe of the first trailer we ever saw when Gears of War was first announced for the Xbox 360. Like, it was an incredible trailer that they did for that. But then we saw that on LinkedIn, people who have been working on this game, they've been working on this game for 5 years. So could that be the game here that's going to slot in as the major release for the end of 2025, plus whatever else that they have in the works that I'm sure we'll hear more about at the June summer showcase? I mean, there's already Call of Duty. We know that one comes out on a yearly basis, so that's always a major release. But will there be something else? Will Gears E-Day be that game, or will it be something we just don't expect? Overall, I mean, the catalog of games that Xbox has is huge, so there will be more stuff to talk about before this year does end. When it comes to the games that people play, we have this discussion on the channel all the time. It's exclusives aren't the main seller of consoles. People can argue that till they're blue in the face, but the reality is the data just flies against that, flies in the face of those claims anytime that we do see statistics come up as to what people are mainly playing on Xbox and on PlayStation, which if you look at that data, that's the reasoning why we're seeing more of this multi-platform strategy. Well, we have even more information on this, and live service games dominate. Games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, the games that you're paying multiplayer games as a service style of games, those are the ones that do dominate the charts. And Matt Piscatella has more to say on this. He's from Circana, as we know, always providing those MPD updates on the stuff happening in the gaming industry. He says over 70% of US active PS5 and Xbox Series players played at least one of the top 10 live service games of the month during January, and more than 40% of all time spent playing on the PS5 and the Xbox Series in the US during January went to those same top 10 live service games. And it goes on here and also says, it used to be that players would jump from big game to some other games, but they were most often to moving to something new that they had purchased. Now, the live service games suck out a ton of available time, and it's hard to beat free if it's good. So here we are. He also made a claim or comments that most people with these consoles aren't buying new games. Just the reality of the situation. If you're wondering what's happening now in the gaming industry and you're seeing a lot less risk that these companies want to take, it's because of this. It's because people play the same games, and a lot of these games are free. And if you're wondering why you have games that are trying to break into the live service and the free-to-play model, is because they want to be one of those top 10 games that people are spending money on all the time, because you make way more money if you become one of those top 10 games where people are continuously spending money on your game for years and years. So that is the issue right now that is happening. A lot of companies are trying it. They're failing it. I mean, we look at PlayStation with Concord. They tried to get in there. The game lasted like 6 days, and there are various other examples out there. I mean, they just shut down Multiverses, which was a free-to-play game that they were trying to take on the likes of Super Smash Brothers, but put it in the live service model. So many examples of games just failing. And if you're not in those top 10, if you're not a Fortnite, it is very hard to succeed in this genre. And I think this is another reason why we are seeing a lot of bad things happening in industry. Studio closures, game cancellations, the whole WB thing. They tried with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League to make it a looter shooter, and I think their initial goal was to make this very live service and a game that people continuously paid into. Obviously, it didn't work out for them, and then we see the results of these games failing. And then we also see these big companies, these big AAA companies, take less and less risk. So here is where we are. Hopefully, the industry figures out how to evolve past this, but I can't see it happening, because the reality is the same people play the same games. They don't care where they're playing it either, as long as they can access those free-to-play multiplayer games as a service games. All right, Xbox added a bunch of stuff in to Game Pass at the ID at Xbox Showcase. It was actually a very good showcase, and one of the big launches that they have added into Xbox Game Pass is Balatro. As we know, one of the best games of the year last year was nominated for Game of the Year, one Game of the Year at different Game Awards. So very, very cool. I believe it won at the Canadian Game Awards as well. And they added another feature here, which is, again, a great thing to see continuously being added to games launching into Game Pass. And that is, they have added Xbox Play Anywhere support to the title. So Balatro, if you go there, you will see that pop up. Again, it is now in Xbox Game Pass, and it says, here's a look of the evidence of Balatro's PC Game Pass inclusion as well. So it's there too. And in terms of Xbox Play Anywhere, Balatro does not have Play Anywhere tag on its Xbox store page right now, and you can't filter it that way either, but we've checked that our console copy is appearing as an owned title on the PC app. So you buy it, you get to play it on anything, and you're good to go. So very cool stuff there. Happy that it is in Game Pass. Happy that more people are going to be playing it through there. And if you purchase it, now you're going to get to play on whatever platform that it is available on within the Xbox ecosystem. That's one of the main, I think, differentiating factors that Xbox has to continue to do if they do want to even come close to trying to compete with the likes of Steam on PC. It's Play Anywhere. That will be enticing for people who have a console as well. And if they have anything that they want to sit back on their TV and play it with, then that will be useful to them. So that is something I hope they continue to do with more games that do get released. Now, the other thing here, we know that it caused a lot of controversy when this first came up, but this is the strategy of Xbox. So I actually thought this was a good marketing campaign. Let's stop trying to blur the lines here. They're putting their games everywhere. Everything technically is an Xbox that has the ability to get the Xbox app on it. And they're going to be talking more about this at GDC next month. They're going to give us more information as to exactly what this means. Maybe we see more hardware. Maybe we see more third parties coming in and showing off their Xbox devices that have the Xbox ecosystem built into it. I think that's kind of what this would hint at. But we have this tweet here that they have announced that they will be present at GDC next month. They say at GDC, we're inviting game developers to go behind the scenes to better understand the significance and impact of what it means for Xbox to be on every screen. And they show off everything, your handhelds, laptops, phones, the console, the Fire Stick, and just the TV itself via the streaming applications that are on the Samsung and LG. They're bringing it over to LG Xbox Game Pass. I hope that is an update that comes to all LG TVs and not just the new ones coming up, because I've used it on the Samsung and it works very well. So I can't wait to see what they show off here at GDC next month. Okay, let's talk about some information on games that are coming out, some more studio layoffs and all that stuff. First of all, Sonic Rumble, which is Sega's free-to-play 32-player Sonic game, has been delayed until spring. This is just an announcement that they did put out here. They say that the multiplayer party game, which sees up to 32 players taking control of toy versions of Sonic characters, was originally revealed in May for iOS and Android, but before the PC version was also confirmed. And the game did have a pre-launch in 44 countries, but eventually they were going to release it global. And now here they say that we would like to extend a huge thank you to our players and Sonic fans for their patience in waiting for the global launch of Sonic Rumble, and that the team is committed to delivering a memorable experience for Sonic fans with even more new game mechanics, new features, and more exciting content to look forward to. But as of right now, it is going to be delayed until spring. So if you're looking forward to this game specifically on PC, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Sonic has been putting out some good games recently. I feel like Sega with that franchise is really coming back, because there was an era where Sonic games just weren't good. And now they're coming back, and there's been a lot of good ones. In fact, I play most of them that have been coming out recently. And then you add that onto the movie success. Sonic is absolutely 100% back. All right, let's talk 2 games here. Lots of info about 2 big games that are releasing, or at least 2 that I'm excited for. The first one here is Split Fiction. And this comes via Okami, who got the information from the Min-Max show. And they say here that the playtime is about 12 to 15 hours, which is very similar to the other games. If you ever played Takes-Two, is around there. Joseph Ferry says Hazelight is not for sale, and says we will never be on the stock market, never have microtransactions, no BS, just make games, period. And I think that is such a key thing here for why Joseph Ferry knocks it out of the park with every game he puts out. I have complete faith that this is going to be potentially even a game of the year contender. I think it's going to be that good, based off of what we've seen previously from him and his studio. Said it Takes-Two sold 23 million copies, with half being from China. Grapple is always available during sci-fi levels and is part of the core movement. One of the fantasy levels allows you to shapeshift. Joseph Ferry's guarantees that there is stuff you've never seen in a game before, and that's kind of what I look for with this stuff, is just the unique gameplay mechanics. Says you won't want to miss the side content. The Friends Pass is cross-play, so you can invite someone from any platform from free. This is awesome to hear that. There will be no post-launch DLC. The budget was almost double It Takes-Two, and Joseph Ferry's teases a potential genre change for Hazelight in the future. Co-op will always be a part of our DNA, but the first game, Brothers, was single player, and who knows in the future what will happen again. But I'm very excited for this game, for Split Fiction. We're going to be able to play it soon. So I've played the Brothers games. Actually, I played every game I believe that he has put out. Brothers, I've played the Prison Break one, whatever it's called. I can't think of the name at this moment. And then I played It Takes-Two, and now playing Split Fiction at some point after it does release. Now, another game that I'm excited for is Atomfall. This is a game coming to Game Pass day 1. It looks like a Fallout clone of some sort, with obviously their own mix on it, with a lot of survival. It's also now looking with this new information that is very Stalker-like, so pretty cool stuff there. We have more info here that is coming to PS4, PS5, PC, the Xbox Series, and Game Pass on March 27th. It is a first-person, single-player, story-driven action survival game. There's a long video here. Definitely go and watch it, and you will see kind of how it looks like a Metro Stalker game in Fallout as well, all mixed into one big thing here. It says that it takes place in 1962 Northern Britain, 5 years after the real-life events of the Windscale disaster. There's an absence of traditional quest system. This is something that was pretty cool. It's all about just exploration and figuring things out and investigation. They want to foster authentic investigation. Talking, researching, and violence are key to survival. Following one lead may close off other leads or ultimately lead to nothing, adding to mystery and consequences. They say no real currency economy relies on bartering, trading. Items have different values. You offer them up in scale system to trade. Or you can always murder the shopkeeper and loot their corpse. Open world is dangerous. Mines dot the landscape. Hostile mechs or virulent exploding sheep, which is pretty cool. You can encounter poison rats that attack you, bloodthirsty leashes in rivers and streams, swarms of crows, or the feral, which are seemingly mutated humans. And ammo is in short supply, limited inventory space, find resources to craft upgrades, weapons, items, and balance them to best proceed in the world. And upgrade weapons like guns, for example, when you start with a rusty rifle, then upgrade to stock, then pristine. And you also get a metal detector, as you can see right here in the video, to look for buried caches in the world. So this is a game that a lot of people have their eye on. It is from a smaller studio, smaller budget and everything. It's not going to be on the scale, I don't think, of like a Fallout or even a Stalker 2, but it looks like it has elements from all of these different games. And I think this could be one of those hidden gems. And the fact that it's in Game Pass day one, I'm sure you will get a lot of people playing it and a lot of people talking about it, which would lead to just it being discovered more. So pretty cool here. Atomfall is always one I've had my eye on ever since it got announced that it was coming over to Xbox Game Pass on day one. And speaking of subscription services, we don't talk too much about PS Plus because I feel like it's a good service, has games in it, but it's just not on the level of Xbox Game Pass, and they don't ever really have these massive announcements for games. They had just put out an announcement for March 2025, and I have to say, this is a great PS Plus announcement, and it seems like if this is the way that they're going, there could be some competition. Obviously, minus the first day one first-party games, with some more competition here between the two services. So here's an announcement. Dragon HD Veilguard already launching in to a subscription service. This will be coming to Game Pass because it is a part of the EA Play, but it's launching into PS Plus here first. And it's just a few months after release. This is, I think, telltale sign this game did not meet the expectations. But launching the Game Pass, if you haven't played it and you're on PlayStation, now is the time to go check this one out, because this is a game I've talked about previously. There's just extreme views on both sides of the spectrum here. It's very hard to get a handle on whether it is good or not. And the only way you'll be able to is by playing it. Sonic Colors Ultimate. I've played this game. I like it. I like these Sonic games, so that's awesome to me. And then this game here is just it's an awesome game. I played it when it first came out. I have the collector's edition and everything, and that is the TMNT Cowabunga collection, a collection of the old Turtles games. Phenomenal. Go play it if you haven't. But that's a big month for PS Plus, and I wonder if we're going to see more of this. If they're going to be reaching out, trying to get major third-party games launching into the service in a short period of time after they've officially released, because that would be something that could help offset the fact that they don't put their games in there right now, day one. If they get major third-party releases on the service day one or shortly after, that will be enticing for a lot of people. And then we have this here. If you're looking forward to Assassin's Creed Shadows on Steam, Ubisoft is being smart. They're putting their games on Steam now. They can't afford not to be completely honest, but they are launching it on Steam day one with full Steam achievements. They have announced this, so if you want to pick it up on Steam, you'll be able to there. And finally, Callisto Protocol, the studio who created this one, is suffering more layoffs. This game just fell flat on its face when it first came out from Striking Distance Studios. Crafton writes here that most of the devs were laid off, and that the Striking Distance Studios has reduced the size of its team to remain agile, which creates a sustainable environment for the studio at its current stage of development. But the studio remains operational, and these changes will not impact any planned ongoing support, and no further changes are planned at this time. So this is some more layoffs in the industry that are happening. But again, this one I'm actually not very surprised. This game just didn't do very good, and they've had a lot of stuff going on at that studio. So not surprising there, but it's sad for the people that did, again, as usual, who lost their job. But on the video there, guys, if you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.